Hello everybody, this is David, and this is part 4 of installing a CasaTunes system. In this video, we're going to look at how to set up waking up to music. Now, just as a reminder, our setup is we're using a CT+2, which is our 2-stream music server, along with a CasaTunes CT6x6 matrix amplifier, which is a 6-source, 6-zone matrix. And then we have set up the various rooms: kitchen, dining room, guest room, master bedroom, master bath, and living room. So when we set up waking up to music, one of the things we have to do is be able to specify what music we're going to wake up to. And one of the easiest ways to specify the music that you're going to use is to use featured items. And so we're going to take a slight detour and explain what featured items are and how you create featured items. So let's jump in. Let's just review featured items first. So featured items are very similar to favorites, but we think that they are a lot more powerful. But in the end, it's similar to favorites. It allows users to quickly select the music that they want to listen to. Now, one of the things about featured items is that there's a consistency across all music services. So all the music services that we support featured items. And what you'll notice is that anytime you're in the app and you see a gold star, then you know that this item can be selected as a featured item. So just look for the gold star is the thing to do. And the gold star will either be an outline of the star, which means that this item is not one of our featured items, or it will be filled in, which means that this is currently a featured item. And you can set these featured items either when you're in the Now Playing screen or when you're browsing your music. So a featured item can be an album, or it can be a playlist, or it could be a radio station. And then we have a couple of special types of featured items. So we have the concept of a shortcut, or also known as a deep link. So this allows you to quickly navigate to a folder within your music services tree so that you don't have to go through the whole process of navigating down to find that folder. And then we have another featured item that's called featured item searches. So for example, if I was to go into the TuneIn music server, then select the search button and then select to search for BBC Radio, it will provide me with a list of all the different BBC radio stations. Now, as the result of that search, I can actually select that as a featured item. And the next time you select that featured item, CasaTunes will automatically perform the search on your behalf without you having to enter in all the search criteria. Because featured items is a quick way for you to select the music, we will display these featured items first in the music selection process, and we'll show you that. And the reason we're taking this detour into featured items is because featured items can also be used to specify the music that you select to play in the CasaTunes alarms as well as smart tasks. And smart tasks is something that we'll review in a different video. Okay, so let's jump into our CasaTunes X app. And again, this is the same setup that we had in parts 1, 2, and 3. And let's go ahead and navigate to the master bedroom, as this is where we're going to go ahead and set up the alarm, or the waking up to music is going to be in the master bedroom. Okay, so let's just take a quick tour of the featured items. So when we go to pick music, and let's do a radio station first, as that's pretty easy. So let's go into TuneIn, and let's go into my local radio. I like public radio, so I'm going to go ahead and select this station. 90.7 is our public radio. So we started playing that radio. So now if I go into the Now Playing screen, you'll notice that, remember what I said, is look for the gold star. And you can see that this is an outlined gold star, which means that this radio station is currently not a featured item. So let's go ahead and select this as a featured item. Okay, so now when we go into pick music, you'll see that we start displaying our featured items. So the featured items are listed at the top here because we want you to be able to select these quickly. These are displayed in a horizontal in a horizontal list. You can have up to 20 in this horizontal list, and we support more than 20 featured items. But to go beyond the 20 featured items, you would have to go into the all featured items container, and we'll do that a little bit later on. Okay, so let's also go ahead now and let's go into Jack's Spotify, and let's go ahead and add an album. So let's go ahead and search for Hotel California. Okay, and so here you can see the album. If we navigate into the album, again, just look for that gold star. There's the gold star. It's outlined, which means that this Hotel California album is not a featured item. So let's go ahead and select it as a featured item. If we go back now to go back to pick music, you'll see that we've added Hotel California as a featured item. And if we want to start playing Hotel California, all we got to do is select it and then select play or shuffle, and it'll start playing. Okay, so that's some of the power of the featured items. Now another featured item that's kind of nice is our ability to select a folder. So for example, let's say I go into genres and mood, and let's say that I want to go into chill. And now you see that there's a bunch of playlists over here, but the truth is that I like playing different playlists from this chills folder. So what I want to do is I just want to be able to navigate to this folder as quickly as possible. And again, you'll notice up here we've got the featured items outlined. So this means that this folder can also be featured. So let's go ahead and select that as a featured item. And this is what we call the featured item shortcut. So now when we go back to picking our music, you'll see that we have this shortcut. So if I select on this shortcut, it takes me right to that folder. I don't have to navigate and drill down, remember how I got there, whatever. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and pick a playlist. So again, I can navigate into pop covers as an example. I can go ahead and select this as a featured item. And so now when I go back, I'll have 4 featured items, which includes my pop covers. And again, if I want to play this pop covers music, all I got to do is go into it, select play, and it'll start playing that music. So this is great. Okay, so that's enough about featured items. Now let's show you how you can use featured items when you're setting up your music alarms. So currently we're in the master bedroom, and you can see, let me just turn this off so it's not less distracting. So you can see that there are no alarms set because there's no alarm notification being displayed. So to set up an alarm for this room, and alarms are set on a per room or per room group basis. So you can set it for a room group. So if you want to have an alarm go off in a bunch of rooms at the same time, create a room group. That was the previous video, and then you can set up an alarm inside of that room group. So to set up an alarm, we select the menu and we say add master bedroom alarm. And now you can see that we have no alarms currently configured, but we have the plus button down here to add an alarm. So let's go ahead and add an alarm. So by default, it's going to enable the alarm. It's going to set it to start at 8 a.m. on weekdays. So let's look at some of the other properties that we can set for the alarm. Okay, so let's go ahead and say that we want to set our alarm for the master bedroom to be from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. during the week, and we want to play our public radio on Jack's player. So let's go ahead and we got to change the start time. We're going to go ahead and select 6 a.m. And now we want to enable the end time because we want basically the music to stop after at 8 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and change that to 8 o'clock. And we want to play the music on weekdays, which is already set, but just to give you a view of how you do that, you can just toggle the days that you want to play the music. Okay, and then we're going to play the volume. We're going to play this music. The alarm's going to go off and start off at a volume of 30. And then we can specify whether we want the volume to ramp up and ramp down. So when the alarm goes off, it'll ramp up from 0 to 30. And then when the alarm shuts off, it'll ramp down from 30 to 0. So let's go ahead and just leave the ramp. It's kind of a nice thing so you don't get jolted in the morning. And now what we can do is we can specify, okay, when this alarm goes off, what music do I want to play? By default, it just says, just use the current source. Okay, so what's going to happen in this case is when the alarm goes off at 6 a.m., it's basically just going to turn on the zone, it's going to ramp up the volume, and that's it. It's not going to mess with changing sources or picking music. It's just going to play whatever's selected for the master bedroom at the time. And that's often okay. But in my case, I want to actually go ahead and play I want to listen to my PBS radio. So let's go ahead and change this now. So I'm going to select Jack's player. You have to pick a player if you want to play specific music. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Jack's player. And now, again, I can just go ahead and select, whatever was playing on Jack's player, I can just go ahead and continue playing on Jack's player. But I actually want to change this. I actually want to play my PBS station. So now you see, this is where featured items come. All my featured items are listed, and I can go ahead and pick my featured station. So that'll pick up my featured station. And just another thing while we're picking music, one of the things that CasaTunes does do is, in addition to featured items, if you have any CasaTunes playlists available, it will allow you to select your CasaTunes playlist. And then in the case of Spotify, your playlist, okay, if you go into Spotify and you go into my music and my playlists, these are the playlists that are listed here, so you can select from that list as well. Okay, so this is basically set up. This is how we set up our alarm. And now if I want to set up a different schedule for the weekend, I can just add another alarm. So in this case, I'm going to wake up on the weekends. I want to wake up at 8. That's good. I'm not going to turn the music off, but I need to change my days here. So I'm just going to go on Sundays and Saturdays will be the weekend. And then as far as the source, let's go ahead and pick Jack's player. And then maybe on the weekend, I want to go ahead and listen to my pop covers playlist. So here you can see your alarm setup that we've set up. We've set the first one to play during the week, and the second one to play on the weekends. So the other thing you'll notice here is that we have an enable button. So for example, if it's a vacation day and you don't want the alarm to go off at 6 a.m., you can just go ahead and disable it, and that will prevent the alarm from kicking off. And then when you go back to the room view now, you'll see that we have this alarms notification icon. So this means that there's an alarm set for this room. And to edit the alarms, you can just go ahead and press on this button. Of course, you can still go into the menu, and you can go and configure your master bedroom's alarms. It's the same thing. But as a shortcut, you can just go ahead and press on the alarms button and then edit your alarms. So that's a quick overview of waking up to music. Hope this was helpful, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.